Good morning and welcome to Kilat Shari Torah's daily review of Maimonides' 613 Mitzvos, the Sefer HaMitzvot for Wednesday, August 4th. We're shifting gears now. We've been talking about, by and large, about holidays, festivals, appointed times, moadim, seasons over the last couple of days. Now we're going to start talking about what we might call civic legislation. The first of those, positive mitzvah 172, is to listen to the prophets. We are commanded to hearken to every prophet and do whatever he instructs the Jewish people. The note at the end here, there's a little bit of discussion. It does say that Moshe Rabbeinu, is the Jewish people's chosen prophet for all times, as is mentioned by Maimonides himself in the Yud Gimel Ikarim of Emunah, the 13 principles of faith, which you can find in our Siddur, printed right after Shacharis, along with the additional supplemental readings. Next mitzvah is to appoint a king. Soim tasim alechem melech, you shall surely appoint yourselves a king from among the Jewish people who will bring the whole nation together and act as our leader. And there are a number of restrictions upon the king, on the limits of the king, powers of the king, and so on. The king, of course, also is subject to halacha, as is any other Jew. There is much fascinating discussion as to the extent to which the state of Israel today fulfills this role of a king. Does it or doesn't it? Even though it's a little bit of an academic discussion, because we're talking about a flesh and blood person, a person with arms, legs, eyes, and all that, who is subject to every other whim of being a human. And of course, the Medina, the state of Israel, the apparatus of the state, and so on, is a corporate entity. It's not one person that you can hold accountable. So it's a fascinating discussion. It's not, of course, a one-to-one correspondence. Another positive mitzvah, since we're talking about civic legislation, is that the Jewish people have to obey the Sanhedrin Hagadolah, the great Sanhedrin, the Supreme Court of the Jewish people, which sits in the Lishkas Hagazis, in the chamber of hewn stone on the Temple Mount, and is in session there. Now, you'll object, or you'll ask, quite appropriately, hasn't the temple not been present as an actual entity in our lives for the last 1900 plus years? You're absolutely correct. So at the moment we are, since the Sanhedrin is the ultimate arbiter of the oral law in Judaism, we are more or less on a little bit of a holding pattern, waiting for a Sanhedrin to be reestablished with the reconstruction of the temple, the Messianic age, and so on, to apply the laws to the times. There have been a number of historic examples of trying to convene a Sanhedrin. There has been one in recent years. To the best of my knowledge, that's not been accepted by the majority of the Jewish people. And even if it were, we would have the issue of needing an actual temple structure to be present for it to take full force. However, the following mitzvah, positive mitzvah 175, to abide by a majority decision, Achar Harabim Lahatos, which is explained in several places in Sanhedrin, certainly is an operative mitzvah and factor in Jewish law today in any kind of civic legislation. So wherever there's a Beit Din that sits and adjudicates interpersonal disputes, business disputes, whatever the point of discussion might be. So we do follow this law of Achar Harabim Lahatos, to follow the majority decision in law. And of course also has application in deciding practical halacha for all of us as well, even those of us who are not involved in court cases. Okay, we'll pause there and we'll continue tomorrow. Please join us then. In the meantime, have a wonderful day.